Journaling solo role-play games. Should you consider them to be part of your creative writing process? Let's talk about it in this video. Hey there, I'm Parz. I am with drawingXpressions. Thank you for finding our channel here on YouTube. And if you follow the channel at all, you know that I'm a creative writer, and I focus mostly on microfiction. And microfiction, the definition is that you're telling a story in 250 words or less. And I don't know that the word count is all that important. Really, the thing to think about when you're talking about microfiction is taking a story and condensing it down as tightly as you can. The shortest story, I think, that is listed as being published, you can find it on the internet, 6 words long, and it goes, for sale, baby shoes, never worn. And so then, you fill in the details. So this is the essence of microfiction. So what happens if instead of wanting to take a scene or a small story or something and making it very, very small, you instead want to expand? You want to explore character. You want to explore setting. You want to explore a story. And this can be a very difficult thing to do. It can be a very difficult thing to pull off for a number of reasons. Writing a long piece can be sort of like a marathon, right? So how do you maybe get around that? And do you need to necessarily write something like a novel in order to achieve writing something long? The answer is no, you don't. And there is something that is out there that Alicia and I have discovered. She brought it into the house, and we have both just fallen in love. And it is this journaling solo role-play game. And it has really turned our writing experience on its head. And we're writing a lot, and we're writing on these fabulous characters that we're discovering within our writing process. So I wanted to walk you through today what it is that we're doing and why. And in future videos, I'll be walking you through my story. So before we get ahead of ourselves, let me just share my screen. Here we go. So journaling solo role-playing games, or JSRPGs, in order to make things easier. Part of your creative writing journey. Apparently, I have not had a sufficient amount of this, a little bit of brandy. I have been doing a lot of lives, and they were on Sunday mornings. It's now the afternoon, so, brandy it up. Okay. So let's talk about what is a JSRPG, a journaling solo role-play game. So first off, you have the words role-play. And anytime anyone is doing acting of any sort, they're playing a role, okay? They're doing role play. And so on a movie, you're our character. There's other characters. You have a script that tells you what to do. You've got a director who's directing you how to do the things and giving you your motivations and breaking things down, all that kind of good stuff. 1 second, let's just get rid of that keyboard. Okay, so that's role play. Then a role play game. So this is where in the game, oftentimes you'll hear people talk about like Dungeons and Dragons, right? That's like the most famous role play game there is. And really what it is, it's improv in a setting that is guided by the rule books that you have, and also you have someone who is the game master, but you are improvising what is going on. So I'm just going to come back here to the room real quick. So let's just take an instance for a second. So in a movie, you have a bunch of characters who are walking down a dusty trail, and there's a town up ahead. And so the script says everyone walks into town. They go to the inn because they're dusty and they're tired and they want hot food and cold drink. Okay, easy. In a role-play game, you and your compatriot role players are told by the game master, you're walking down a dusty trail and there's a town up ahead. What do you do? This is your opportunity to role play. And some people may want to go straight into the inn. Other people may want to try and find the biggest house in town because it may be an opportunity to steal from it. It may be an opportunity to go mine the library. There's different ways to approach this type of thing, right? It's improv. So that's the role play game. Now, a solo role play game, you are doing the whole thing. You're improving the your character, all the other characters, everyone you interact with. You are the game master. And you have a guidebook or guidebooks that will help you make your decisions as far as what you do. And so, right, so you can see that this is becoming more in your control, more your imagination, more your story. And then the last bit is the journaling piece. You write down all the action however you choose to do so. So people will set up very attractive pages and they can make them very like arty type of pages. My I approach it is it's very wordy, very creative wordy. So that is, and that's what I'm going to talk about for the creative writing journey, creative writing process, is how to use a journaling solo role-playing game inside your creative writing process. So, and I talked about real quick that what if you have a situation where you want to write something bigger, right? You don't want to write something small and condensed. You want to write something bigger. So you could write a novel. So it's just right there in the middle of the page. You could write a novel and you could set it up all on your own, but you do have to set up the setting and the characters, and you have to have some sort of conflict, and you have to have resolution, and you have to perhaps even have like an underlying message or theme that you want to include in all of this. Writing a novel can be really, really, really tough. Trust me, I know. I've got a couple of them that have been sort of baking away for years and years and years, and they are incredibly hard to, in the fiction world, to bring it all together, wrap it all up in a nice, neat bow, and be happy with it. So in here with the JSRPG, the guidebook or the guidebooks, they provide the setting, and they give you some hints as far as who your character is and what you're going to encounter. And so by using something like this, you can write what I call episodically. And so instead of writing like a concise novel, and even if you're talking about the length of War and Peace, it's still concise because it is hundreds of pages, but you're still telling a story from beginning to end through the eyes of all of these different characters. Instead, you can approach it and say like, well, I'm just going to have it sort of be open-ended. And there's going to be an event and an event and an event and an event over time, over time, over time. Sort of like episodic TV. Like my favorite TV show probably was The Big Bang Theory. So that went for, I don't know how many years it was, how many episodes. It was 100, something between 100 and 200 episodes. And so, each one of these episodes, right, you have conflict within the episode, it gets wrapped up, but then there's like this overarching story, and there's all these things that get brought up throughout time. And this is something that you can do using this method. And I really enjoy that aspect of the writing process, where you can just basically take a situation and turn it into your own and have it develop as it comes up over time. Another example, It's in the book series, the Discworld series by Terry Pratchett. Watch as it's 30 some odd books long, and it starts off with, book one and kind of shaky start, and it just goes right along until he's got all of these beloved characters that keep coming up again and again and again in different situations and things. And it's a wonderful thing. It's can be very much looked as a episodic in novel form. Okay, so that is that's what we're looking at. So the specific JSRPG that Alicia and I are playing, it's called Apothecaria. And let me just show you the cover real quick. So this is the cover to the guidebook, and it is a solo potion making RPG. And so that's the basic idea, is that you're a potion maker, and you have people who come to you for help, and then you also have days off. And so as you make your way through the year, you have different people coming to you for help. You've got free time, you've got festivals, you've got things that you can do, and within all of this stuff, there's prompts to give you hints as far as how to navigate this particular world, and ideas on what you can write about. So I'm just going to bring this back up real quick. If at the end of the video you find that, hey, I'd like to give her a go, I want to write along with you, this is the website for how to purchase it. It's Blackwell Writer, or Blackwell Writer, and it's the product is Apothecaria. Now there is a animal one, so Apothecaria, P-A-W. If you want something that's a little bit different, it's got animals in it. I don't know anything about it aside from that, so don't take my word on anything at all. All I know is this Apothecaria, the potion making. Okay, so in terms of why I like Apothecaria as the RPG that I am playing, come back here. So there's no combat. It's a very peaceful game. You're making potions, and even the conflict that you do end up with from time to time, it's basically just written out. There is something that happens, and you describe how you get through it. So for instance, we had an incident with some pixies, and so how did we navigate this encounter with these pixies? How did you do it? And that's all up to you for writing it out, how you want to manage that particular aspect of that particular situation. Okay, so there's no combat, no fighting, so it's very very lighthearted in that way, very peaceful. It's very straightforward. You are a witch or a healer. Use whatever term makes you most comfortable, and you're writing from your character's point of view. The potion maker, the witch, the healer, again, whatever term you're using. And perhaps you're writing it also from the perspective of your familiar, a creature that can come and help you, and they have their own personality, and they can do whatever it is. Like if you think of like a magic user, and you've got the raven that's just sitting on top of the skull, that's a familiar. And so, but familiars can come in all different shapes, all different sizes. They can have all sorts of different abilities, and really the fun can be in finding out who they are, what do they do, how do they act. And lastly, it's Apothecaria is quite lighthearted. An example ailment, and this is something that she, the author, whose name I did not write down, bad me, I will grab that before the end of the video. The example ailment in the book, we have photothropy, which is the turning into a hamster on full moons. So there's the little example here. So during the full moon, the afflicted turns into a monstrous hamster and scurries around their home and village, nibbling on carts and walls. Okay, so that is the person comes to you, they need help being cured of this photothropy. Okay, so let's just come back here. So this is why I like Apothecaria. And let me see. And lastly, and this, I really enjoy this bit. So this is a note. Again, this is within the guidebook. And this, so from the author. And actually, I've got the whole printout right here. Yeah, actually, let's go big. Let's go big. So this is, there we go. Here, undo the plastic, Parz, because it's easier to see. Okay, so what we did is we bought the PDF, and here we go. There we go. Apothecaria. We bought the PDF, and then we had it printed here. Since we're in Thailand, shipping of a book, first off, it can be a little bit difficult to have something show up from overseas. And then the other thing is that it's expensive, right? Shipping is expensive. So instead of going through that, I don't have the name of the author here, sorry, but it is the Blackwell is the publisher. It's expensive to ship. So we printed them out here, and we did it on cardstock, and so you can basically get it whatever size you want it to be. So mine is a B5. Wasn't able to get the sleeves to be the right size, and that's okay, because it's sort of like wearing, plastic sleeve sweatpants. Alicia's, it fits really nice. She has an A5, and that's a great size for her. Excuse me. Anyway, so yeah, so that's the book, and yeah, did buy the PDF. So here we go. So from the author, a note on how to play Apothecaria. This solo journaling game was inspired by films like Howl's Moving Castle, Spirited Away, and the Harry Potter series. Also TV shows like Little Witch Academia, My Little Pony, and Gravity Falls, as well as games like Stardew Valley and Theme Hospital. The goal isn't to win. Big note, the goal is not to win. And especially since we're doing this as a creative writing exercise, the longer you don't win, the longer you get to write about whatever it is you want to write about. So that's awesome. So while there is an endpoint, what matters most is the journey. As a journaling game, this is a great opportunity to let out your creativity and turn the ailments, reagents, and events in this zine into something that is uniquely yours. Answer questions creatively, misinterpret the rules, go off and write stories about the characters you meet whenever you like. The journal is yours to do with as you please. The only limit I'm going to suggest is that in the few places the game gives you the opportunity to have whatever you like, don't use it to sneakily gain the tools and upgrades that you can purchase. Otherwise, you'll find yourself with less mechanical rewards waiting along the way. With that said, I hope you enjoy. So if you needed permission to use the rules and the prompts, not the rules, the guidelines, and the prompts as springboard for your own creative writing, there it is. That way. There it is. So with all of that said, that is why we do play Apothecaria and why we enjoy it so much. Now I'm going to check my notes real quick to make sure that I covered everything. I did. So I just realized I just jumped into this whole thing, and I was going to do, actually, that's all guideline. I was about to say that I was about to put in all the stuff that I do in the beginning of a live, and I forgot all about it because, well, I just jumped right in. So we're going to do that now. and then I'm going to pause and we'll move on to the pantser section. So let's do that now. So here we go. So the guidelines. So guidelines bend. That is the one cardinal rule about this channel, is guidelines bend. Nothing else matters. Guidelines are like the palm tree in the wind that gets blowing way over. It bends. Dead trees, they just snap. So guidelines. Everything is just an idea. Take it or leave it as you'd like. And we are doing it in the two pieces, and we have just experienced the planner section of the whole thing, which is talking about JSRPGs and why they could be a part of your creative journey. The pantser section is going to be talking about how it is I use Apothecaria and the guidebook and whatnot in order to do my creative writing. And now I'm going to invite you to breathe and stretch with me before we pop into the pantser section and talk about the way that I'm using the materials, and I'm going to invite you to join me. Okay, so here we go. I'm going to invite you to take a nice deep breath in. Here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and hold. 2, 3, 4, 5. Exhale. 2, 3, 4, 5, and hold. 2, 3, 4, 5. Breathing in. A little stretch. Not much. Don't hurt yourself, like I've done once or twice. Breathe out. Good. Okay. So I'm going to take a quick pause here, and then we're going to come back and talk about how it is that I'm using Apothecaria in my creative writing. Okay. So here we go. So let's talk about how I'm using Apothecaria and all my other tools to create my story. So to do that, I just want to share first the, let's get my screen to, and now I will come over. Okay, so tools I use to generate story. The guidebook, Apothecaria guidebook. So that's got the prompts, it's got the setting, tells me a little bit about who my character is, or the role I'm playing, and it's a very small amount. You have playing cards or tarot cards, and these are for the random prompts. Now, it's designed for playing cards. We are in Thailand, and so playing cards are a regulated gambling item, and so they're not as easily available as they are in other parts of the world. But we do have tarot cards in the house, and so we're using tarot cards and modifying the rules to use them. And so basically, we're just using them as playing cards, and yeah, it's working fine. The next is what's been written prior. So if you're just starting out, all you've really got is what the guidebook tells you, and it's very, very small. And then the last thing is your imagination. And this is by far the biggest thing of all. Because it's your imagination that really is going to be driving the story. It's your imagination that drives each episode. What is it that comes to mind? And then there is no wrong answer, and that is one of the beautiful things about this. There is no wrong answer. It is your story. You can do with it as you please. So that is the tools. So the tools that I use to actually write the story, come back real quick. I use B5 notebooks, it's just ordinary lined paper, and I'll be showing that in just a minute. And I use fountain pens. Now, fountain pens, Alicia has been into fountain pens now for a while, and all the various odd styles and the makes and the inks and the papers and the Oh my gosh, it is a tremendously huge hobby to get into, with all of the different variations and things and all of the ways that things interact with each other. It's far, far bigger than I ever imagined it could be. Um, I am much more of a just put something in my hand that will make my handwriting magically look good, and fountain pens actually fit the bill. My writing looks a lot better using a fountain pen than it does with a roller ball, and I'll take a second to demonstrate that. Let's see now here. The last bit is that I also use Blogger. So when I want to share my particular story with the world, aside from just doing it here on YouTube, I'm also going to be, it's also on Blogger, and Blogger is ahead. So right now, as of this recording, I am starting week 3 of the first season, spring. And so getting familiar with how things work and doing all that kind of stuff. And I've written 5 or 6 episodes, because you have an episode for curing a patient, and then you have off time. So like in any given week, you have basically 2 episodes. And there is an awful lot of story that has come out, even just in those things, a small number of episodes. And so yeah, it's all on Blogger. And so as I write it and I'm ready to put it up, it gets typed into Blogger. So I have the address here. It's also in the link tree for Drawing Expressions, also in the link tree for Parz of Sattva. So I will put the link tree into the show notes, and it'll be available there to see. Yeah. So that's why I do it that way. Okay, or that's the way I do it. So the reason I like doing a longhand, aside from the fact that my handwriting looks better, using fountain pens as opposed to, say, like a ballpoint or a roller ball, when I write longhand, I'm not getting constantly interrupted by the computer, where it says, oh, you know, your spell check is wrong, right? So like, if you look here at the list, right? So I've got the names of inks up on the screen over there. So diatramentus. So it does not like the word diatramentus, despite the fact that it's a perfectly fine word. It's brand name. Iro Shizuku, Zukushi, right? Doesn't like those either, foreign. The color, it doesn't like the fact that I've spelled color in the Canadian way, despite the fact that I'm Canadian. So yeah, there you go. Anyways, every time that comes up and you're doing a writing, it'll stop you, right? It's like, oh, spell check's not happy with me right now. I have to go back and I have to fix it, or I want to move this stuff around. And the screen can be very in your face, I guess is the best way that I can think of putting it. So using an ink, and here I'm just going to bring that up again. So in the Pilot Vintage Tiger's Eye, that is my primary pen, my favorite pen. In fact, here, I'll just grab it out real quick. I've got my pen case here full of my inexpensive yet very functional pens. Where did you go? There you are. Here you are. So this is the Pilot. This is a Pilot Vintage Tiger Eye, and it's painful because vintage means it was made in like the 1980s, which means I'm like vintage. Yeah, but anyways, it's my favorite pen, fits well in my hand. Post it up, just pops right off, and you know, there's the fine nib. Here we go. And I'll show you writing in a second, and I'll just to demonstrate why it is that I like the fountain pen, the fountain ink, and I like it over and above anything that I've written with ever before, pen, pencil, what have you. This takes the cake. And the ink it's light enough that, or it's heavy enough that I can see it when I write with it, but then it's light enough that it recedes into the background and I can just keep on writing. So if I misspell a word, it doesn't really matter. I don't, it's not jumping out at me saying like, oh, you made a mistake. I can just keep going, or I can scratch out real quick and just like write something and then, keep going. So I find that it is a more satisfying way to write, to have my pantser self just put idea onto the page, and then I can fix it when I move it from my handwriting into Blogger. I do light edit, and I don't do anything beyond that because I really want to keep the flavor of just the experience. Right? If you're writing in your diary or whatever, you're not going back and like, whiting out things that you wrote. It's just like, no. You just scratch out, and then you move on. So it's a light edit when I go into Blogger, but that's it. Okay. Yeah. So let me pop over to the screen where I have, where did it go? Where did it go? This one. There it is. Okay. So this is an example. This is an example. This is actually my Apothecaria journal, and I'll see if I can get the shadow off of it. So here, I'll just do the front page. So I just did a brief Apothecaria page, an adventure, an education, a life lived. And then this is the prompts that came from the first pull of the first drawing of cards, the first drawing of prompts. And so I just put them all down here, and people will tell you to do different ways to deal with these prompts. I like having it inside of my notebook, in the same notebook, because it's right there and I can flip back and forth. And then using those prompts, I'll just turn this over, and there is my start of my journaling. So this is the intro, and off it goes. And here, you can just sort of see that I've written in. Yeah, here's a little bit of an edit where I'm just popping something in there, and it just goes on and on and on and on and on. And yeah, like I said, this is 6 episodes so far, and I have used this much of the book, and get out of the way, cord, and there's this much left. So you can see I'm writing, and I'm writing a lot. And that's another thing that I really enjoy. Whoops, this one. That's something I really enjoy about this experience, because it has inspired me to write in a way that I haven't in a very long time, in long form, taking the time to explore my character. So let me pause for a second, and I'm going to set up and do that quick writing sample to show you why it is that I'm using fountain pen as opposed to any other pen. So hang on one sec. Here we go. So this is a blank page, and this is a similar paper to what I have in the other books. This is just, it's my more of a junk journal type of thing. So I'm going to do a quick writing sample. And I just want to show first, this is what I used to use. This is a Parker roller ball. It's a black 0.5. And I've seen a lot of people use the quick fox jumps over the lazy dog. So let's just see what I can fit onto one line. So the quick fox jumps over the lazy dog. Oh, all fit. Okay, so there is the example with the roller ball. So it's quite bright. The ink is quite saturated. Let's see if I can get the shadow out of the way. And that's what I used to use, because it was vibrant, it was bright. I've never had a problem seeing it, but it always would jump out at me. So if I use my tiger eye. So the quick fox jumps over the lazy dog. So this is a fine nib. And so you can see that the ink is less bright. It's more of a gray. The color of the ink is quite similar to the color of the line itself. I'm not sure if that's showing up really well on camera. As opposed to the contrast between the ink of the rollerball and the line, it's quite striking how bright that comes out. So this is why I prefer this fog gray ink, because it doesn't jump out at me. The other ink that I tend to use for these longer writing sessions is this one. This is that Iroshinko. So this is the quick fox jumps over the lazy dog. So this is also a pilot vintage. This is silver. The nib on this one is more of like an extra fine. So it's just a little bit finer than the fine that the tiger eye has. So you can see that the line is even just a little bit thinner. But you see how my handwriting is, it actually looks better with the thinner line. The thicker line, everything kind of starts to blend and bubble a little bit. It's not as attractive. It's a little bit harder to read in some respects. So having these thinner lines is a very helpful thing. And so that is why I am using fountain pens. Now, the thing about fountain pens is that they do require some maintenance. And to be frank and honest, my lovely lady love is the one who handles, sorry, Aunt, is the one who handles the side of the fountain pen. I don't like getting my hands dirty. I don't like playing with the ink. I don't like putting the ink in. If you're the kind of person who does, then you know fountain pens are great. That is the one drawback for me for using fountain pens is I don't like taking care of them. Thankfully, I've got someone in the house who loves doing it. So. My suggestion is if you love fountain pens and you're like me, you don't like getting your hands dirty and you don't want to get all complicated with the mechanics of it, find someone who does. Because they'll do it eagerly, I hope. Anyway, that is in a nutshell. Okay, not so much a nutshell. We've been going for a while now. But that is why my wife and I, we are using a journaling solo role-play game as a means to help us write or to do our creative writing and to explore character and setting and all of the different situations that our characters can end up in, everything that the prompts suggest, everything that our imaginations can call forth, all the different ways that we can get our people into trouble and get them out again and go through all of that stuff. It is a wonderful time. And yeah, and I'm going to invite you to join me. So as I said, in future videos, I will be sharing my writing, some of the decisions that I made, because I do want to talk about the more technical aspects of writing. I don't just want to simply say, hey, look at me, look at my story. I want to do, you know, to have it be like a sharing moment as well as a sharing creativity moment. You know, share technical, share expertise, share how it is that we, excuse me, how we do stuff. And I'm hoping that as you watch and you listen and you share. Maybe you'll post up your Apothecaria stories on Blogger as well, and we can share blogs and we can chat back and forth. If we have a community, great. If we don't, that's okay too. But this is what I am going to be doing for the next little while, and I'm inviting you to join me. Okay, so I'm going to wrap things up with that. Before I do that, however, I'm going to just bring up the drawingXpressions haiku, which is a creative space, holistically supportive. Please like, share, subscribe. And if you've enjoyed this video, please give it a like. Please go ahead and share your stuff on social media. Maybe set up on Blogger. I think Blogger or any of the other blogging websites where you can share your story, your take on things. I think it's a wonderful way to share what it is that you're doing. And if you have the opportunity to, or if you are going to put it onto social media, and there's an opportunity to drop a hashtag in there, it's DX Live with Parz. I'm on Facebook, I'm on Instagram, and I do check here and there for stuff that's out there. So please do put it out. Anyways, with that, thank you so much for bearing with me until now, or up to this point. I'll have one last sip of brandy with you, and then we'll just call it a day. Or I guess call it a video. Okay, see you next time.